So, friends, let's continue our discussion. Before starting our discussion, I am making some announcement here. I have attached the PDF file of this short notes in the description and comment section of the video, so you can download the same from there. Okay, and I will complete this ancient history series in another 5 short videos. Okay, so let's continue our discussion. Till now, I have uploaded 4 videos, and in my previous video, we were discussed till Jainism. So, in this video, we will thoroughly understand about Buddhism. Buddhism also arose around 6th century BC. It is also called heterodox sect. Okay, let's quickly understand about causes or reasons for rise of Buddhism. As I said in Jainism, or as I discussed in Jainism, same reasons were responsible for rise of Buddhism. The first reason was rituals of Vedas. During Vedic period, people showed hatred towards rigid orthodox practices that were exist during Vedic culture. The second reason was language barrier. All Vedas were in Sanskrit language during Vedic period, so people were not able to understand this Vedic culture. Then third reason was rigid caste system. During Vedic period, four Varna system were become more rigid, especially Brahmanas and Kshatriyas were become more dominated, so people showed hatred towards this kind of rigid caste system. Okay, let's quickly understand about life of Gautama Buddha. Gautama Buddha born in Lumbini near Kapilavastu in Nepal to Kshatriya family. Okay, his childhood name was Siddhartha. Then he married to Yashodhara and he had son. Okay, at the age of 29, after seeing old man, sick man, dead body, and ascetic man, he decided to renounce his life. Okay, this renunciation is called as Mahabiniskramana. Very, very important keyword, guys. Please remember. At the age of 35, he attained enlightenment. Enlightenment is also called Nirvana at Bodh Gaya in Bihar under the people tree. Okay, this after this enlightenment, he was called as Buddha. Before that, he was called as Siddhartha. Okay, after attainment of his enlightenment, he has given his first sermon at Sarnath in UP. This is called as Dharma Chakra Pravartana. Very, very important. Please remember. He died in Kushinagar in UP at the age of 80. Okay, it is called as Mahaparinirvana. It is also very, very important. Please remember. As per the Jainist doctrine, 5 Buddhas are there. The first Buddha was Kakusanda Buddha. Okay, second Buddha you need not to remember. Then third Buddha was Gautama Buddha. Then fourth Buddha was Kasapa Buddha. Okay, then future Buddha or upcoming Buddha will be Maitreya. He will called as fifth Buddha. Please remember, UPSC has already asked this about Maitreya Buddha in UPSC exam. So please remember here. Okay, then let's quickly understand about teachings of Buddha. It is also called 4 noble truths. First one is the truth of suffering, that is called dukkha. Second one is the truth of origin of suffering, that is called samudaya. Third one is the truth of the cessation of suffering, that is called nirodha. And fourth one is the truth of the path to cessation of suffering, that is called magga. Okay, so Gautama Buddha prescribed eightfold paths to end suffer, that is called as Dharma Chakra Pravartana Sutta. Please remember here, very, very important keyword. Dharma Chakra Pravartana Sutta is called eightfold path prescribed by Gautama Buddha to end suffer. That eightfold paths are: first one is right understanding, which means proper understanding of Buddha's teaching. And second one is right intention, follow right, which means follow right attitude. And third one is right speech, which means speak truthfully. And fourth one is right action, which means avoid stealing or killing. Okay, fifth one is right livelihood, which means avoid killing of animal and people exploitation. And sixth one is right effort. Okay, then it means develop positive mind. Seventh one is right mindfulness, which means develop awareness of body. Eighth one is right concentration, which means develop mental focus, which means by making meditation for awareness of body. Okay, these are the eightfold paths to end suffer as per the Buddhist teachings. Okay, After the death of Buddha, six six Buddhist councils were organized to compile the teachings of Buddha. Here, four Buddhist councils are important, so we will thoroughly understand these four Buddhist councils. The first Buddhist council was held around 483 BC. That was held at Rajagriha in Bihar. Please remember, very very important. It was held under the leadership of King Ajatasattu, and it was presided by Mahakashyapa. Okay. Then the objective of this first Buddhist council was to preserve the teachings of Buddha. Okay, please remember. Then second Buddhist council was held around 383 BC. It was held at Vaishali in Bihar under the leadership of King Kalashoka. It was presided by Sabakami. Okay, please understand. The objective of this second Buddhist council was to settle the disagreements of different subdivisions of Buddhism. Okay. Then third Buddhist council was held around 250 BC. It was held at Pataliputra in Bihar under the leadership of King Ashoka, that Mauryan Emperor King Ashoka. Then it was presided by Moggaliputta Tissa. Okay. The objectives of this third Buddhist council was to analyze the different school of Buddhism and purify them. During that time, different school of Buddhism exist, so they were analyzed these different school of Buddhism, and they compiled the final version of these different school of Buddhism. That was called as Tripitakas. Tripitakas means Buddhist scriptures here. Okay, they compiled three Tripitakas that was named Pitakas, then Vinaya Pitakas and Abhidhamma Pitakas. Please remember here. Tripitakas are Sutta Pitakas, Vinaya Pitakas and Abhidhamma Pitakas. Okay. Then fourth council was held around 72 AD. It was held at Kashmir under the leadership of Kaniska. Okay, please remember. It was presided by Vashumitra. Okay. The objective of this fourth Buddhist council was to settle the dispute between different school of thoughts. At that time, different school of thoughts exist, so they solved these different school of thoughts. After this fourth Buddhist council, Buddhism was divided into two sects, that is Mahayana Buddhism and Hinayana Buddhism. So we will thoroughly understand about Hinayana and Mahayana Buddhism in tabular column here. Hinayana Buddhism follows the original teachings of Buddha, whereas Mahayana Buddhism follows new form of Buddhism. Okay. Then second difference is Hinayana Buddhism do not worship Buddha's idol. Okay, whereas Mahayana Buddhism worship the idol of Buddha. Okay. Mahayana Buddhism follows Bodhisattva concept. Bodhisattva concept I will explain below. Okay. Then Hinayana Buddhism believes in individual salvation. Individual salvation means salvation will be achieved by individual, not by others. Whereas Mahayana Buddhism believes in universal salvation. Universal salvation means if anyone gives teachings of Buddha to others, then he will also get salvation. So they believe in universal salvation. Let's understand about Bodhisattva as I discussed in Mahayana Buddhism. As I said, in Mahayana Buddhism, Bodhisattva concept means they believe in universal salvation, which means if you give teachings to others, then others will get also salvation. Okay. It is followed by Mahayana sects of Buddhism, as I said earlier. Bodhisattva, it means idols were there. That total 8 Bodhisattva idols are there. Among them, 5 are important here. Please understand. Okay, I am explaining here. The first one is Avalokiteshvara. That idol holding lotus flower. Okay, it is also known as Padmapani. Very very important, guys. Please remember here. Avalokiteshvara is holding lotus flower. It is is also known as Padmapani. Okay. Second one is Manjushri. Manjushri is known as male bodhisattva. He is holding sword in his right hand. Please remember, very very important. Third one is Vajrapani. Vajrapani is one of the three protective deities in Buddhism. Others are, as I explained earlier, Avalokiteshvara and Manjushri. Okay. Fourth one is Kshittigarbha. Kshittigarbha is known as Buddhist monk in East Asia. Okay. Fifth one is Maitreya. As I explained earlier, Maitreya will be the future Buddha. Okay. He is called as future Buddha. Then let's quickly understand about other schools or sects of Buddhism. Apart from Mahayana and Hinayana Buddhism, Buddhism also divided into other two sects, that is Theravada Buddhism and Vajrayana Buddhism. Theravada Buddhism is similar to Hinayana Buddhism. Okay, they follows the original teachings of Buddha. Okay, then Vajrayana Buddhism influenced by Hinduism. They influenced by Hindu religion and follow the complex sets of religions. Please understand, guys. Vajrayana Buddhism influenced by Hinduism. Very very important. Okay. Then let's quickly understand about different mudras of Lord Buddha. Mudras means hand gesture. It means different Buddha's idols were there. It shows different hand gesture that we will discuss in mudras of Lord Buddha. Okay. First mudra is Dharma Chakra mudra. Sorry. It represents this Dharma Chakra mudra represents the first sermon of Lord Buddha at Sarnath. Okay, after enlightenment, Lord Buddha gave first sermon, right? So that explained by Dharma Chakra mudra. And second mudra is Dhyana mudra. It is also called Samadhi or Yoga mudra. Okay. Third one is Bhumi Sparsha mudra. It is very very important, guys. UPSC already asked in prelims. Okay. It is also called touching the earth. It represents the moment of awakening of Buddha as he climbed the earth as witnessed the far of his enlightenment. Once again, I am explaining here. Bhumi Sparsha mudra represents the moment of awakening of Buddha as he climbs the earth as the witness of his enlightenment. Okay. Then fourth one is Varada mudra. Varada mudra represents offering and welcome. Okay, offering and welcome indicated by Varada mudra gesture. Okay. Fifth one is Karana mudra. Karana mudra represent protection from evil. Sixth one is Vajra mudra. Vajra mudra represents 5 elements, that is air, water, fire, earth and metal. Very very important, guys. Please remember. And seventh mudra position is Vitarka mudra. It represents discussion or transmission of teaching of Buddha. Eighth one is Abhaya mudra. Abhaya, as the name indicate, fearlessness. Okay. Ninth one is Uttara Bodhi mudra. It represents the supreme enlightenment by connecting oneself with universal energy. Okay, which means if you get enlightenment, if you want enlightenment, then connect with universal energy. That explained by Uttara Bodhi mudra. And 10th one is Anjali mudra. It is also called Namaskara mudra. It represents the gesture of greetings and prayers. Okay, please understand this much only. As I listed here, revise it once again. You will thoroughly understand. You just remember the meaning of these 10 mudras. Okay. Then let's quickly understand some important Buddhist sites. It means in art and culture, we will study more about art and architectures of Buddhism. So I am simply explaining some of the important and major Buddhist sites here. That major Buddhist site is Tabo Monastery in Himachal Pradesh. Okay. Then Lorsava Lokanga Temple in Himachal Pradesh. This is also in Himachal Pradesh. Okay. Then Alchi Temple in Ladakh. Then Ajanta and Ellora rock cut caves. which means in Ajanta and Ellora we will find Buddhism and Hinduism and Jainism rock cave cut also. Here also we will find Buddhism related rock cut caves. So in Maharashtra, here in Ajanta and Ellora rock cut caves, Chaitya is called as place of worship. Very very important, guys. Please remember, Chaitya keyword is very very important here. Chaitya is called as place of worship, and Viharas is called as dwelling place of monks, which means living place of monks is called Viharas, and Chaitya means place of worship in Ajanta and Ellora rock cut caves. Okay, please remember, very very important. Okay, so one more concept I am explaining here. Yeah, UPSC asked in previous, not previous year, in prelims exam, one of the prelims exam, that is Baudhayana theorem. Baudhayana theorem is same as Pythagoras theorem. Okay, just remember this much. Pythagoras theorem, as you know, it explained about right angle triangle, which means square of the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the square of other two sides of the triangle. Okay, that explained by Baudhayana theorem. It is same as Pythagoras theorem. Okay, then let's quickly understand about common things in both Buddhism and Jainism. Common things in Buddhism and Jainism are they rejected Vedas. Okay, both were rejected Vedas. That is common. Then they denied rituals. Both were rejected or denied rituals. Then third one is they did not injure any animals. It means no injuries to animals. Okay, then common, very very important common, which means differences between Buddhism and Jainism is Buddhism rejects the existence of soul, whereas Jainism believes that everything has soul, even smallest particle in this world is having soul. That was taught by Jainism, whereas Buddhism never believed in existence of soul. That is the difference between Buddhism and Jainism. Okay, so this much is sufficient, guys.